So President Trump is one step closer to fulfilling his campaign promise of repealing and replacing Obamacare. The House could vote on a revised GOP health care plan as early as tomorrow. So one of the big changes, the bill gives more power to individual states. Now, even the Freedom Caucus, which was adamantly against the first plan, is on board with the revised bill. For the latest, let's bring in our very own Calloway, who has left us for Washington, and we worry he's never coming back. Tomorrow? Really?
I don't know. I mean, if they're going to get a floor vote, Cheryl, by tomorrow, it'd have to go through the Rules Committee today. And so far, we have not seen a definitive sign that's happening. Speaker Ryan was asked about it earlier, said no decision's been made. But, we'll see. Could be Saturday as well. I mean, the Democrats are adding to the drama a bit on all this. The Minority Whip Steny Hoyer earlier said he would oppose a short-term resolution to keep the government running if health care comes to the floor tomorrow or Saturday, so that works into it as well. Either way, though, the question remains, you mentioned the Freedom Caucus, are the moderates coming around to this amendment that was introduced by one of their own, the New Jersey Congressman Tom MacArthur? Now, he's hopeful.
I am cautiously optimistic that we actually will have a vote and that we will take the first steps towards repairing our health care system.
Now, the key to his amendment, this MacArthur amendment, would be allowing the states to ask for waivers on a number of Obamacare provisions. There's one, for example, where insurance companies would have to charge healthy and seriously ill people the same rates. Wouldn't have to do that necessarily anymore. Conservatives like it.
Our constituents could not take premiums going up for 3 years. So we have reached a compromise that will allow some of the mandates to come out, the forced coverages that drove prices up. So we're going to be able to have prices come down within the next 2 years. That's huge.
It's huge. Will it be huge enough, though? We should have something of a better idea by the end of the day today in terms of how things are progressing, at least. If we get that Rules Committee vote, for example, that would be a signal, that the Republicans are moving forward. Maybe they have the votes. We get it tomorrow. Maybe we get the vote Saturday. But we'll see, Cheryl. Progress certainly being made, but nothing is done yet.
Saturday would be 100 days for President Trump. That would be an interesting little moment there. Well, Connell, a lot for you to do in Washington. We miss you, but thank you very much.
All right.
Well, as Connell just reported here, a vote on the revised health care bill may be pushed to next week. Maybe it's tomorrow. We don't know. Still unclear, though, if this bill really has the support that it needs. Back with me for more analysis, Ford O'Connell and Don Calloway. I just can't let you two go. I can't help it. Ford, this is very politicized now. I mean, the timing on this, Ford, don't you think? Oh, hold on, guys, really quick. We are the U.S. I want to bring back in right now Ford O'Connell and Don Calloway. And, guys, we talked about aluminum at the top of the show, but we need to pivot back to health care here. Because the timing of this, if there was a vote, Ford, in the House on Saturday, that would be the 100th day for President Trump. The symbolism can't be dismissed on this one. Do you think that Congress, the House, is going to push it through to then?
I don't think they're going to get it this week, believe it or not. We'll get it when we have 216 House votes. Understand what's going on here in the big headline with respect to Obamacare. That is, the GOP is trying to show some inter-party bipartisanship. The Democrats are completely exempt from this argument. They don't want to do anything about Obamacare. In fact, they want government-funded universal health care. So what you're watching is Republicans bargaining with themselves, and when they actually get the 216 votes, they'll pass it through the House. It'll move on to the Senate, and it'll probably look completely different once it's done through the Senate than it looks right now. So this is about a process, and Republicans making sure they don't look like fools by putting it up there and not having the votes.
For one of the things, Don, that I was looking at was the ratio under the proposal. So you've got states that can opt out of certain rules. That's part of this new plan that we've seen with, of course, federal government approval. That I would think would pacify some Democrats on this, even though they're going to say no. But the ratio, right now you have a 3-to-1 ratio where you can only charge 3 times the amount you charge a younger person, an older person, for their health care coverage. They want to widen that to a 5-to-1 ratio. Don, that is an economics question, but it seems to me that's a good business decision. Do you agree with that part of the proposal that we're seeing now?
I just don't know enough about that much of it, Cheryl, to comment. And that's part of the problem, is that we have this bill that's being rushed to the floor on Friday or maybe a Saturday vote to try to fit into this symbolic and arbitrary 100-day rubric. But if you remember Obamacare's passage and its process in 2009, by this time, before the bill passed, we had talked about pre-existing conditions and being insured until age 26, and we talked about death panels, and the American public had really vetted the mandate and the different parts of this legislation. We don't know what's in this bill, and I appreciate you're dropping.
Well, let me say something.
We don't know. We don't know. We don't know much about what's in this proposal, and the reality is that the American people have not had a chance to kick it around in the court of public opinion, and that's troubling to me.
Okay, in political parlance, what Don just did is stalling and sliming the bill. To your economic point, Cheryl, you asked about being able to charge up to 5 to 1 is a political loser. But the economic theory says that under the Republican plan, the health prices will go down, so 5 to 1 does not look as stark 2 years from now as it does at the moment. This is something that the Republicans have to message, is the idea that they can drive down health care costs. If
Ford,
they can, it will be a winner.
What are the tenets of this bill? We want to, your party wants to replace Obamacare and revoke Obamacare. But with what? And the American public writ large, I would even argue most members of Congress writ large don't know what's in this bill.
Guys, look, there's several things in here, but in particular, I think, and we don't have enough time to go through all of it, Don, but really, it's about giving every state, and Paul Ryan said this earlier today, every state is so complex, the system is really a state's issue versus a federal issue. And instead of having health care for all across the country, this really does give more power to the states, Don, and I think, and businesses as well. And I think that there's a lot that we should analyze and look at, and we don't have time to do it right now. But we're going to do it.
But we had a lot of choice with the Medicaid expansion in Obamacare as well, I should point out.
Well, and for some states that's good, for some states that's been bad. For Don, thank you very much, and I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, Cheryl.
Bye, guys. Thank you.